Hello, I'm making a foot massage video in the evening. It's getting dark outside, but I still wanted to make a foot massage video with my chamomile cream. If it shows, I don't know if it shows very well. It doesn't show very well. I have to turn it on. Okay. That's the chamomile. Oh, it's too low. No, it's better. It's very nice, is that? Very nice out here. I put my self-made mosquito repellent on my arms and it works really well. I have a lot of different essential oils in it that work 100% to repel mosquitoes. This is amazing. So I want to talk about a little bit about ethics. I think it's very important to talk about ethics. It is important that people never ever go places without their animals, without their dogs in particular. Always bring your dog with you. This is very important to do. Okay? Very infinitely important to do. And it is very important that people go into meditation. Very important that they go into meditation every day and become consciously aware of their needs and of their act outs and of their past and of the present moment, and start realizing all the mistakes they have made in the past and learn from the mistakes. Really learn from the mistakes and never make any of these mistakes again. It's very important. Reflect on the mistakes. When anyone out there who has been mean to others, to other living beings, or abandoned someone, or made a being or a person feel bad, reflect on it, and make this conscious decision to learn from these mistakes and never ever make these mistakes again. Okay, that is my plea to the world. There are people who have dogs on chains. Never ever do this again. Never ever. Bring your dog in the house. Very important. And for those people who don't know how to train a dog, there are dog training videos on YouTube. And it is very important to never punish an animal. Never punish an animal, ever. Train a dog, house train a dog, to go party outside. And you do that with treats, with reward, with praise, with petting, with gentleness, with infinite patience. And for those people who can't do that, they should bring their dog adopt the dog out to someone else, or bring the dog to an animal shelter. Very important. Don't give an animal a harsh life. Never, 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 never let an animal suffer on a chain in loneliness. Dogs are social animals. Very, very important to realize this. Very important. They are as social as humans. They always want to be with their friends. They never want to be alone. They never want to be left alone. Very, very important for people to realize this. Go into meditation and don't run away anymore from the inner voices, from the childhood trauma, from the mean voices of your childhood, people that are mean to you, that were mean to you when you were a child. Don't run away from this trauma anymore. It can't hurt you anymore. But you need to listen. You need to hear what it has to say. Don't run away from it anymore. Listen to it. And when you listen to that inner voice or voices or images or memories or painful situations that you are trying to run away from, that you're trying to cover up in your adult life, situations that your ego wants to avoid. Your ego wants to always avoid this from ever happening again. In your adult life, rejection from the parents becomes rejection from a potential partner, a woman or a man, or society, society in general, becomes accumulated pain. Become aware about it. Don't run away from it anymore. That is my plea to the world. Do this. This is our world that we live in. We live in this world together, all of us. And when people are neurotic and in a lot of emotional pain and they're acting it out on others, on other living beings, whether they are dogs, cats, rabbits, humans, farm animals, we're all equally sentient. Become aware, first of all, that is a sentient being like you, just like you, who wants to live, who wants to be loved, who wants to be petted, who wants to feel safe, It's so incredibly, infinitely important that we become aware about this. Don't act things out anymore on others. Don't act out certain domination type of act outs. That's what I see a lot in the world. People they want to dominate. I hear the word dominance now. So the person who feels stepped on like a rug wants to turn it around and dominate the other one. He's not interested in equality. He wants to turn it around and hurt the other one. That's not how we heal things in the world. That's not how things are healed. A person who is beaten by his boss and then beating his wife at home, that's not how we heal the world. I don't even want to mention the other. What's even much worse, the worst is when someone is letting it out on really innocent beings, like dogs and children. That's a horrifically sad, infinitely sad situation. I saw something so horrible again today. So horrible. I don't even know if I want to mention this. I better not mention it. I see these horrible things on the internet get sent to me, petitions of cruelty cases. I can't stand it. There's no way I can stand this. I cannot stand it. I sit there on the couch and I am shattered with emotional pain when I see this. And making videos is the only window to the world that I have, the window through which I speak to people. I say we can do it better, Humans, no matter how traumatized they are, we can do this better, people. We can make this world better. Okay? Someone who hurts another innocent living being, or pollutes the environment, or dumps their household furniture into a wetland, or pollutes or just throws trash around. This is your world too. This is your home. This planet is our home. Okay? This is our world that we live in. We can make this world better. We can heal this. But it begins with an internal healing process. It begins with meditation. Meditate on this, people. Meditate. Every day. Every day. Don't run away from your pain. Don't act it out. Don't act your pain out. Don't run away from it. Don't escape with loud music and drugs, whatever. Don't escape from it. Sit there. That's where the ghost stories are. That's where all of this is. The ghost stories, of the past, always, which is interesting, they always have to do with people particularly when the sun goes down, when there's less stimuli coming into the retina, when it gets quieter outside, when people are going to sleep. It's this quietness, it's the silence that people are afraid of. That's when the ghosts come up. Who are the ghosts? Or demons, or whatever, devils. That's when the pain comes up. And that's what the ghosts are. The ghosts are those desperate voices inside of you that are constantly knocking on the door. Those voices that are constantly, no matter how rich someone has become, like some of the showbiz people, I talked about this earlier on Clay and Putty videos, you know, and they have beautiful homes by Paul McLean, and then they decorate those homes. My hair is wet, that's why it looks like this. Then they decorate their homes with incredibly painful images of sadomaso and suffering images of suffering people or beings, suffering beings. I know that the painter Francis Bacon, at the turn of the century, around 1920 or something, famous artist, he painted, it's interesting that his name was Bacon, because he literally painted slaughtered carcasses hanging from the ceiling on meat hooks and stuff like that. And some of those creatures were kind of like hybrid between human and animal. And those images, and like I said earlier today, you know, depicting cruelty is not art, but that's not always the case. In the case of Francis Bacon, that is true art. That's true art, and you know, I don't know if you can call it modern art, probably can call it modern. It's not modern anymore because it's like pre-World War II, but it's not old school painting anymore. It's an abstraction from reality, and what he did is he painted out his pain. He did not run away from his pain. He confronted himself directly, frontally, right into his own face and mind without escaping. And he depicted this pain, and even though he was a guy, he was gay, and he was a man who was quite brutal to him, who was acting out he wanted to dominate him, and he was kind of sexually attracted to this kind of stuff, which is very tragic. But I think he was very well aware of this insanity in his own mind, and that's why he painted this out. And he didn't paint it out in a glorification. He didn't paint it out glorifying it. His painting was not an act out of escaping from his pain. It was an act, not an act out. It was an act of introspection, an act of going in. I'm making a video right now. It was an act of going into his pain. That's how I view it. So I find his art quite fascinating. And he felt like a slaughtered creature. He was psychologically slaughtered, basically, because of his neurotic family and the brutality in his life, the brutality that he grew up with. They were into horse racing, which is a very violent sport, and like I said before, many times don't involve animals into competition sports. It's an absolute atrocity to do this. It should all be outlawed. Okay, horse racing and all of these things, or greyhound racing, should be outlawed. And so a sensitive, highly sensitive man, Francis Bacon, short, and he was homosexual, and a very delicate, sensitive man. And not just homosexuals are delicate, sensitive. I just want to put this in parentheses, because people they seem to run off with this, oh yeah, I'm tough and stuff like this. No, you're not. Okay, we all used to be kids, okay, and we've all been violated in one way or another, okay. And then people run off with this and act out in different ways. And the way he acted out, because of his sexual orientation, he acted out in a submissive way. And then when he became this very, very famous painter, his boyfriend got so jealous of him that he hurt him even more. He threw him out the window, almost killed him. And Francis Bacon still went along with this guy out of his own neurosis. He thought this is the way of life or something, you know. He didn't understand that there's another path. So, but his art was he thought that was his only way of actually going, and now the mosquitoes are coming really in swarms. He thought that was, and they're not going at my arms, they're going at my face now, because I didn't put enough of that stuff on my face. I'm gonna put it on now. Oh man, they're going at my forehead and my eyes. They go at anything that doesn't have these really, really strong essential oils on it. So I hope they don't go for my feet now. So the art, that was his way of introspection and going within himself. And it's not glorification of violence, it is an expression of the pain. So there's a difference, you know. I don't know if that makes sense to a lot of people, because I would think someone who doesn't know much about art would probably throw all of this into the same fire. But I can tell when artwork is just an act out and a glorification of just it feeds into the act out of sadomaso and brutality and violence and so on, versus when it is actually an attempt or one way of dealing, one way of working through the pain and going into the past and into it, and listening really attentively into what happened in the past and why they do it, why they act the way, why they acted out. They want to know, so I want to dig into this. I want to dive into my own mind, and I want to draw it out, and I want to describe it. If I'm a poet, describe it with words. If I'm an artist, I describe it with shapes and color, and that's what I do. I paint that out, and I also write. So, and sometimes I dance. That's another way of expressing it. So belly dancing is it's a very powerful expression of that, for example. So I can tell when something is just like for example, I saw a guy who bragged how he's doing art performances, destroying old pianos that people give him in the art performance. And that's it. That's all he does, destroying a piano. It's like, well, excuse me, like, that's an act out. That's not art. That's an act out. It's just like, and also the way he's full of himself, I can clearly see this is not an act of introspection. That's just vandalism. It's an act of violence, right? And there's other people that do terrible things in the name of art. It's incredibly awful what's going on in the world. So I want to point this out. And when I see the rich guys' houses, and I see sadomaso images, that those are, I can clearly see right away, those are glorification of this type of scene. It's not an introspection process, and it's like it's all bragging material. That's what this is. It's like here, I'm cool, I belong to this badass scene or something, you know. So that's an act out. That's escaping from emotional pain. But whatever it is, if you see a very monstrous and horrible, gruesome image hanging on someone's wall in a $50 million mansion from Paul McLean, which is all light and love, that mansion itself, right? And then you see a depiction like this hanging on the wall. It definitely, it is a scream for help, but it's not. Those are all screams that are lurking there. You know. Those are their inner voices, basically, that say, I am trapped in this and I don't know how to get out. That's their pain lurking. That's their pain looking at us. You know, whoever lives there, that's their pain when they hang that up on the wall. But it's not, they didn't hang this up in order to dive into the pain. They hung it up in order to act it out, in order to brag about it. They're completely disconnected. They don't even know that comes from their emotional pain. Okay? So that's why it is so vital that we go into our own minds, into meditation, and that we go very deep into this, into these voices, into these images, into that pain, into that despair of not being loved, of being rejected, and so on, of jealousy of the brother or sister. That we get into this, dive into this. It can't hurt you anymore. You survived it. Yeah? Go into it. If you escape from it, you make your life miserable and everyone else's life around you as well. Let's make the world better, okay? The only way we can make this world better is if every single person helps with this. Every single person goes into this pain, you know, whether it's whoever it is. I'm not going to mention names. So all of you, you know, get into it. Whoever you are, go into your pain. Go into the meditation every day for an hour. Sit with it. You don't have to sit in some weird posture. You can sit on your couch, but don't listen to music. Don't have anything on. Don't talk to anyone in that moment. Be quiet. Be alone. Sit there alone. Okay? Let the stuff come up. Have tissues ready. Cry that stuff out. Do it every day. That is the healing process. Okay? That healing process is ongoing. It never ends. It's a healing and learning and growing process. Okay? And if you do this every day, you will be amazed how far you will be in just 1 year, and how much better your life will be if you do this versus if you didn't do it. Can you imagine? That's what Tony Robbins talking about, you know. He suggests to read a book a day or half a book a day or something. And then can you imagine where you will be in terms of knowledge in just 1 year if you read a book a day or something, you know? Or at least half a book. If you take the time, you sit there 3 hours a day and read something scientific, not more people pleasing entertainment stuff, but really factual things. Okay, interesting factual things about psychology, about biology, neuroscience, and technology, and so on. Every day, that will get us very far. And in the same sense, if we meditate for an hour every day, it will get us very, very far, and far as a collective. Okay, the more people help with this, the better the world will become. Okay, you guys take care. Bye bye.